Probably each of you has had the chance to see a motorcyclist in your city. Some people hate them for the noise and impulsiveness on the roads, while others respect and admire them. One thing is, clear it's unlikely that anyone feels indifferent toward these road users. I bet you never miss a chance to at least catch a glimpse of ultra-fast sport bikes or rugged choppers, comfortable touring motorcycles, or off-road enduros that can go where even the most capable Jeep wouldn't dare. And the biker lifestyle itself is full of interesting moments, romance and adventure. In this video I'll talk about my own attitude toward the motorcycle movement. As you already know, I spent every summer of my childhood in the countryside. The motorcycles there weren't exactly super cool or fast, but that was enough for me. Of course I saw some really awesome bikes in the city too, but there only grown, broad-shouldered men were allowed to ride them. Whereas in the village, if you had at least some muscle to hold on to that iron horse, assuming you actually had one, you were basically the top guy, and all the village girls were yours. These days, motorcyclists are suffocated by a bunch of pointless rules, but back then, in our neck of the woods, it was true motorcycle freedom. People rode anything that moved, from the most hopeless junk with a chainsaw engine to the shiny green sport bike that the local rich kid raced around on. Everyone was crazy about him, but he had a certain air of mystery. At least I never saw his face, and I didn't know anyone who could tell me anything about him. To be honest, at first I was a bit afraid of motorcycles in their natural form. You know, all those ancient, rusty Minsk jockeys and Urals didn't exactly inspire confidence in me. Naturally, I was only about 11 years old after all. Getting hurt was definitely not out of the question, but the solution came along pretty quickly. Back then, the streets were quickly being taken over by those crazy foreign contraptions called scooters. There were 5 of us friends from the same street. One of us was the oldest and the most well-off, and for his birthday he got that very scooter. Back in those days it was an unfamiliar little machine made of plastic and weighing only about 60 kilos, where you just twisted the handle and off you went. Even a little kid could ride it. We were all so jealous, it was insane. After taking a ride on it, I immediately decided I'm going to start saving up. For a whole year of school life in the city, I denied myself chips, Snickers, and a tub of Transformers. My city friends started to think I was weird.
Hey, media losers! Come on, let's go to the store with us and buy some Keurig. Oh, right, I forgot. You're saving up for that stingy thing of yours. What? Have you saved up a lot already? Bet you've already got $1 million, huh?
But no, those spendthrifts weren't going to break me. And so by the next summer, thanks to my thriftiness and a bunch of grandmas, I had an incredible $300 in my pocket. My uncle and aunt approved of my dream, since they themselves needed something to get around on. So after making my modest contribution, one fine day I finally got it. Getting a scooter at 12 years old, you know, was pretty cool. So there I was, sitting on it. My uncle sat behind me.
Step on the gas, give it some gas, let's go!
A week later I was already proudly cruising around on it, while most of my friends were either on foot or pedaling their bikes. Having a two-wheeled friend opened up a ton of opportunities for meonies that usually only became available to everyone else about 3 years later. For example, before I got the scooter I had a crush on this girl who was a whole year older than me, with all that entailed. She kept brushing off all my advances, but as soon as I got the moped, this beauty suddenly...
Oh, I see you have such a cool sport bike. Maybe we could go for a ride?
And that's when I freaked out. It's this indescribable feeling of being blown away mixed with pride. The main thing is not to blow my cover, stay cool. God, she's sitting right behind me, hugging me around the waist. We are flying together on the monster bike into a crimson sunset.
Well, back then I didn't realize that she was only with me as long as it suited her, and as long as my Chinese scooter didn't start acting up. Nevertheless, that was my first experience of close interaction with girls. And what were you doing when you were 12? Let me guess. You spent your days in chat rooms or trying to beat that infamous helicopter mission in GTA Vice City? Besides my success with girls, I also became part of a group of scooter guys. Everyone there was at least 2 years older than me. Imagine this situation. You're at home with your friends, your peers, playing with Lego. Then suddenly you hear the roar outside, and the cool older guys on their scooters call out specifically to you to come hang out with them. Without a second thought, I grew a rat tail and ditched my comrades, racing off into the wild unknown with the cool guys. I will never forget one episode from that time. We were coming back to our street, and there was my best friend from the village, sitting alone on the bench. Back then I didn't really feel anything and just called him to come along with us. But now I feel really ashamed of what I did. I only realized how important old friends are a little later. There was this guy, about 15 years old, who was hitting on the girl I used to hang out with. One evening, I came out of the store, got on my bike, and then he showed up with 3 guys his age. He knocked me off my moped and said,
Me? You? Tomorrow at 9 PM at the schoolyard. I'll kick your ass.
I gathered my friends, and the next day at 9 in the evening, we showed up in the schoolyard. I thought there would be 4 of them waiting for us, but I was wrong. There were at least 12 people sitting on the lawn. The guy I had crossed was grinning sly. We clenched our fists, walked closer, and...
Listen, why are you hitting on my girl? Are you an idiot or something?
Is she
Go
a
find
property?
another
Do you
one
ask
and
her
don't bother
first?
mine.
Maybe
What
you
are
have
you
had
even
enough
talking
of her
about?
already.
Haven't you
Can't you
eventually...
finish?
This greatest battle lasted at least 15 minutes. I was already tired of running my mouth. Our buddies on both sides of the barricade rolled their eyes and started slowly drifting away. But then somehow a security guard ended up at the school and called the cops. We didn't even notice when they arrived, and so we got busted.
You have no right without a court order! I'm a minor!
In the end, they brought us to the station where our families were already waiting for us. At home, my uncle gave me a serious beating, and as a result, I didn't see my moped for about 2 days. There you go. That's not like playing computer games.
Hey guys, please support my channel, like, subscribe and write any comment. You can also watch other videos that are published on my channel. I have plenty of stories and very soon you will see them. Thanks and God bless you.
Well, it's obvious that my attempt to hit on that girl from the last episode didn't end well. I'm not even going to ask if you know what I'm talking about, because in the entire universe there isn't a single being that hasn't begged me for the second part of the biker story. Basically, she didn't care that machines actually break down, that they actually need to be fixed, that I'm 12 years old and don't have my own money for it. That's pretty much how it all looked.
Oh, that's it! I'm sick of your rickety old junk! I want to go for a ride. I'm going over to Igor's. Yesterday, he got a new Japanese scooter that doesn't break down. You just keep turning your bolts. Loser!
In short, classic story. But the thing that stuck in my memory the most was this one incident. My group of friends and I rode our mopeds to the lake. Here's the situation. The group consisted of older kids, each about 3 years older than me, most of them with girlfriends. But there were a few single guys too. And then there was me, a small but proud kid on a moped, with that very same girl. Before the lake there was a pretty steep hill that everyone else zipped up with ease. But my little moped, after sputtering its engine and with its carburetor out of tune, just couldn't get up enough speed to make it over the hill, and then it stalled completely.
Did your clunker break down again? I'm so tired of it already. Is it really that hard to buy yourself a decent scooter? It's the same thing every time.
Hey, beautiful. Come on, hop on with me. That guy will show up later. Well, if he manages to fix it.
I might have embellished the story a bit, but that's more or less how it happened. After that I stopped hanging out with that group and became more of a lone wolf, racing my old clunker into the sunset and then pushing it back home. On top of everything else, it started to feel like wherever I planned to go, everyone just assumed I'd show up on my scooter, as if the scooter was a part of me. And that's not even mentioning the truly sketchy situations I got into because of the scooter reel adventures that gave my uncle every reason to confiscate my moped for a few days. And you know what? That big guy would take my flimsy little scooter, ride it with his buddies to get beer or go fishing, thrash it through the mud, never maintain it, and then be like,
"Well, kid, here are the keys. You can take it for a spin." Although the guys and I banged it up a little. And the brakes need tightening too. Also, the tires need patching. Oh right, and the piston assembly is shot, so it won't start anymore. But go ahead and ride, we'll fix it somehow.
As you might have guessed, nobody but me was going to fix the moped. So now here's a little crash course on replacing the piston kit. So, just take it apart, throw everything out, take off the seat, unscrew the spark plug, loosen the 4-bolt, remove the cylinder head, and voila. Right in front of you is the worn out piston kit. Oh, put me out of my misery. Rip it out along with the connecting rod and preferably do it quickly so the poor thing doesn't suffer any longer. Now pull out that rusty piston kit from an old Ural you had stashed away, and what a surprise it doesn't fit. Oh well, we'll just grab a sledgehammer and make it fit. That's pretty much how, at 12 years old, I swapped out the piston kit and immediately rode off, proudly doing victory laps around the neighborhood. But when I got back, the bike started belching out smoke like crazy. Turns out, I'd mixed up the oil control rings, so now I had to take everything apart all over again. It happens. What else did I promise to tell you about? Oh right, the rich kid on the green sport bike. After I fixed up my old clunker, I saw him in town again. I decided that no matter what, I had to find out who this guy was. So I started stalking him trying to figure out where he hung out, where he stopped. But it was all pointless. He was always on the move and I just couldn't keep up with him. Then it hit me that our whole town only has one gas station, so sooner or later this guy would have to go there for fuel. I got to the gas station early in the morning and started watching. I sat there for an hour, then 2, ended up waiting almost until dark, and left empty-handed. The next day my resolve was renewed and I went back to the gas station. I waited until noon, waited until evening, and just as I was about to leave I heard that sweet, ear-pleasing rumble on the horizon. It was him. He got off his bike and headed to the cashier. And I, almost without realizing it, was literally drawn to the motorcycle. God, how shiny it is, how powerful. It can hit 100 in just about 3 seconds. And its top speed must be like a Bugatti's.
This is simply a masterpiece of engineering thought and technology.
Hey kid, so, do you like the bike?
That's when I saw his face for the first time. He was a man of fairly average age, and as we started talking, it turned out he lived in the regional center and came here to visit friends. I was extremely surprised that a man who was no longer young was zipping around the street so cheerfully, catching the glances of passers-by. And what did he say to me?
You know, buddy, do you know what a legend is? A legend, man, is passion brought to life. It has its own unique character. It embodies the drive for something better. Many admire it, even worship it, but it commands respect from everyone. A legend can change you and your way of life. It can inspire you and even give you freedom. It exists beyond time and space. It lives here, in your soul. It lives and waits. It waits for that moment when you cast aside your routine and say, "Let's go for a ride." What are you staring at? Oh Lord, I didn't make this up. This is from a Harley-Davidson brochure. Here you go. Don't share.
I still have that brochure, and what that man said was actually written in it. It was the strangest encounter. But from that moment on, it was like something hooked me. When my father and I were returning home, I asked him to take me to a Harley-Davidson showroom. And you know, after seeing those gorgeous steel monsters, I was hooked for life. Now I drive a car and can't afford a bike, because it's impractical, you have to store it somewhere, and you could crash on it. But deep down, I admire those who every time break free from the everyday routine to the roar of wild engines. And one day I will definitely trade my factory overalls for a leather jacket, get on my brand new Harley, and ride off into the wild chasing the crimson sunset.